Before we start, the name is at the top right of the screen. The story begins as there's blood splashed on the ground. The woman who is injured ponders that this guy is the male lead, and that guy is the sub-male lead as she focuses on the unconscious men. She is aware that they are the first and second sons of the Orca family. One died after being blinded, and he is the youngest. She ponders that she cannot believe she did not get past 22 years of age in this episode either. In this world, it is like a parenting genre novel. 20-year-old, 21st-year-old, and 22 years old. She has experienced this world 3 times already. She assures herself that it is not her fault that she was born into a villainous family. She has been reincarnated into a cute parenting novel. There's no one else who lives as pitifully as her. Someone begins to step towards her as he has a dark demeanor. She is astonished as she ponders he is a living dragon, the one known as the Dragon Duke. She grits as she is aware, if those crazy male leads did not drive the dragon dude crazy, none of this would have happened. She thinks, why did they have to provoke and create such a mess? She wonders if a tragic ending makes sense in a parenting novel. She seems pretty nervous before she gets startled. She wonders if that is Soul Street behind him. She wonders why is she seeing it. She becomes aware that if she goes there at this moment, she might be able to go home, which causes her to have a glimpse of hope. With the happy look, she is aware that she can go to her home. It is the 3rd episode of Parenting Novel. With a determined look on her face, she ponders that in her next life she would conquer a dragon. Somewhere else. 2 women are conversing as one questions if it is the year for a dragon's bride this time. The other responds that they say she did not awaken any power when she was born. Questioning is not being a dragon's bride the same as being sold. She's listening to their conversation as she ponders that she has to be useful to the family in some way. Realizing that these guys are all talk, but talk louder because in this life she will definitely become a dragon's bride. This place is a world title as she became the Doom baby daughter of the Duke of Orca family. She tried to live well by changing the original story, but everything she tried ended in a failure. Not only that, she ended up suffering from the curse of repetition, being forced to regress. Beyond the spectacular failures of the first and second attempts, she failed to seduce the original main lead and had sudden death as a scapegoat. Ambitiously started the 3rd attempt. She fell victim to the original main lead strategy and ended up being killed. However, the last thing she saw of the Dragon Duke's power before closing her eyes is that if she has that power, she might be able to return home. The maid her down in the room as she becomes frustrated and wishes for the maid to be gentle. The maid leaves as she thinks that she's still ruthless even towards a child. She knows that she's a dispensable existence in this family. The head of the Orca family, Ocula Aquacio, questions if it's here. She is referring to her as she realizes today is the day she will receive her name. She asks the attendant about the power of water. The power of water refers to a special power passed down through generations in the Orca family. When activated, aquatic beings can freely exert their power, even on land. The stronger it is, the better it is for the aquatic animals. It is the ability to remove constraints on the power of all aquatic animals. Ocula seems annoyed and asks the attendant if he brought something useless. He questions about the child's name as she responds it is Calypso. She decides to name her Calypso Aquaciatal. The attendant agrees to present her as such. Calypso wonders if this is the end. She realizes this cannot be because if she cannot attract Ocula attention like this, she will be abandoned and die. To be sold as a dragon's bride, she has to survive at least until she is 10 years old. She shouts wait, causing both the attendant and Ocula to be startled. Ocula turns around and asks her what did she say. She calls out to Ocula as Grandma. Ocula asks the attendant did she know how to speak and questions who taught her that. He responds that children typically begin to grasp simple words at around 2 years old. She questions if it is not common knowledge that whale offspring start speaking later and startle until they are 5 years old. She steps towards Calypso as Calypso thinks it is good. She asks her to say it again and Calypso repeats Grandma. Ocula states that it seems like she does not only speak, but can also understand. The attendant tells Ocula that she has not learned separately from the maids and nurses. Calypso knows that this is the ability of Reincarnator, calling them old fish heads. Ocula wonders if a genius emerged among the fish heads. Calypso calls her Grandma Fishhead. Ocula grabs her and picks her up as she calls her a cheeky one. She mentions that Calypso looks exactly like Pierre, but it seems that even though it has no power, it develops fast. Ocula asks Calypso if she can prove herself useful. Calypso extends her hand and touches her hair. She then pulls her hair, causing the attendant to be shocked. She ponders that she is sure she will do it and tells Ocula that she is doing well and she can talk and she will be the one to prove it. Pondering that she will definitely go back home, Ocula begins to laugh. She questions underneath the guy who gave up on life. Something like this came out. She throws Calypso on her bed and tells her all right. Calypso seems annoyed by the fact that everyone is treating her like a child. Ocula tells her that she will postpone the disposal of that thing so they can put it in the education institution this summer. The attendant tells all right as she mentions if she does not show results at the educational institution, then she will be expelled, and there won't be a second chance. Calypso is all determined as she ponders. Let's see, she will grow quickly and become the best, then leave this family forever. Her goal is to survive safely until the age of 10. But her physical abilities are still lacking, and she is too far behind. She looks at her hands as she thinks that since it was decided that she would go to the educational institution in this life, it would be much easier if she had a guardian. Where there it is not entirely impossible to survive alone, if it were not for the educational institution. The maid puts her down on the ground and tells her that in a week they plan to move her residence. Calypso thinks that their attitudes change in an instant when she is recognized for their abilities. She tells them to go ahead, thinking that among those humans who are graced with the survival of the fittest, an adult who possesses overwhelmingly formidable power that would make anyone fearful, yet understands her who has not yet awakened the power of water, has unique taste, and is not deeply involved in family power struggles. It is Father Pierre Aquacidal. She thinks that they say he did not even come when she was born, and he did not even take care of her older brothers. It is said not to appeal to the bond between family members. So first, he should not find out that his daughter, although she is weak, she may have a powerful power. If she catches his interest, she can expect help. She has the memories of previous life. She never thought that those talks would be useful in this life. She finds her father sitting in the front as she becomes astonished. She seems really nervous before she smiles gently and calls out to him. She asks him if he happens to know where the educational institution is. She knows that in her past life it was so short-lived that she could not see the real thing. Thinking if this is what they mean by a beautiful person has a short life. He remains silent as she wonders if he is ignoring her. He tells her that she has taken the wrong path for a while now. She states that she really has to go there and questions if he cannot just take her there. He refuses it and tells her to go back the way she came. She realizes that there's really nothing easy in life. She gets up and sits beside him. She wonders how can she get his interest, thinking if she should try giving him food. She reached for her purse and tells him that this is a dried fruit that she gathered and asks him if he wants one. He does not respond to her as she sighs, thinking that she did not expect this. After a while she tells him this really quiet hair and asks him if he does not have any friends and if he always play alone here. She tells him if that is the case then he must win only like her. She begins to get frustrated thinking if he is going to keep on ignoring her. She guesses that she will have to be satisfied with making her presence known today. She gets down and tells him that she should go now. She greets him goodbye and tells him that she will see him again. She begins to walk away. His hand seems a bit injured as he looks at it and wonders if that was his daughter. He thinks that she must not know his true identity. Students are thinking that he must be thinking the same thing. The appearance of a direct line to the appearance of a collateral family is different, but the personality looks similar, so there is no way he would not recognize her. It is already the nighttime as she comes back and hears the maids talking. One maid tells the other to quiet that down. The other maid states that for a kid who has barely any abilities, it takes a lot of efforts and it is useless. If only she could just get rid of her quickly. It is a place where they leave young whales like that alone until they die if they do not awaken their abilities. To survive in this insane environment, she needs Pierre's help. Mind thinking that she's confident in showing enough genius to pique Pierre's interest. She came out to meet her father in the morning, but she wonders if there is anything she can do about this weak body of hers. Her older brothers all inherited strength and physiques. She wonders why she is the only one who is weak. This causes her to be really frustrated, realizing that nothing is working. In her previous life, it was known as tears shed by a water dragon. She has awakened the power of water by possessing the treasure Alinius, but she can just rush out to find the treasure right now. She thinks perhaps her father's conquest should take priority after all. 7 questions if this is the right place, and if they come in wrong. She hides somewhere trying to peek. The other responds that it is the right place. She wonders who is in here in a place like this. It is 2 guys and one mentions that they said there is a direct descendant born here. The other responds that he gets it but questions why. They say that they cannot even use the power of water. Moreover, they say that they were going to be sold as a bride of the dragon. The other one mentions that they will be recognized by the Lord and moved to the main house. If they do not discipline them now, it will surely interfere with Bayon's plan. She thinks about Bayon, causing her to think that he must be the eldest son of her uncle. She's aware that in that case, those guys must have volunteered to become collateral. They get scared finding it scary when Bayon is angry. She takes the items. They are the guys who have entered under a promising successor. It is not unreasonable for them to ignore other direct descendants. One of them states that they have to scold them harshly and make them unable to think of anything else. She ponders that she does not have the power right now. Realizing that she has to escape like this, she ends up making a sound, causing their attention towards her. They both calls out to her and tells her to wait as she realizes that she is done for. They both begins to run towards her, telling to catch her as she runs ahead. They are looking for her. She continues to run, gasping for breath and realizing that she is exhausted. She knows that she cannot hold out much longer. She ends up falling down, realizing that she is caught. One of them asks her if she's really a direct descendant and why does she seem less than competent. He mocks her that she cannot even use the power of water. So how did she get recognized by the Lord? She tells him that he said it well. She questions if they both are the collateral ones under the lesser Bayon. They are shocked as one questions the other if he heard what she said or if he's the only one who heard it. Wondering how old is she? The other responds that he heard it too and asks her how did she catch the Lord's eye without even the power of water, questioning if she is not just a pest who has nothing to show. He points at her as she becomes frustrated and she grabs his fingers and bites onto it. He shouts in pain and questions what the heck is this, but she continues to bite it. He cries in pain as it is swollen. She questions if they are done talking. She tells him that if she's a pest, then he is worse than a land creature, and calls him a barbaric fish head. She questions how dare they compare her to those primitive land creatures. They question what is she saying. One of them tells her that he tried to reason gently with her. She wonders that it was good to say a word, but she cannot run away anymore. She has no chance against the 2 of them. She points at them and shouts, questioning if they think that her dad will stay quiet. Both of them are confused and wonders if her dad is Lord Pierre, causing them to be scared us in the intense competition for succession among grandchildren. Being recognized by the direct head of the family, she knows it must have been unwelcome news. Still, she's aware this is crossing the line and thinks how can the 2 grown boys pink on a girl? They tell her to not lie, questioning why would he bother with her if he's disappointed and that he's someone who even rejects the family lord's call.